It's like a mirror, but it shows you what you want to see. It's powerful, but it's also comforting. I know for me, I had not had the chance to really properly explore being gender apathetic. VTubing helped a lot with that. I knew I was cis, and that part really hasn't changed all that much, but becoming comfortable enough in my skin to know that I would be comfortable if that skin happened to change at any point, that was a thing that I discovered through VTubing. Let's have a conversation about something wholesome. Nothing terrible, nothing bad, just something wholesome and good. But first, something else that's wholesome and good, though in this case slightly terrifying. Ivana Dragmeyer has given us blonde Suris in the fan art section today. And yeah, it doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. Nope, not right at all. But I mean, the artwork is good. Just blonde Suris just doesn't feel right. Also, the next one is from Mao Oni-chan. It said, my take on suction cup Suris. Imagine this looking out from inside a black car or a window, staring, just staring. I'm going to be perfectly honest. This is something I see in my nightmares, and I want to unsee it and unnightmare. I wish for none of this ever again. Also, thank you very much for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future episode, drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, let's leave blonde and suction cup variants of myself in the dust to talk about VTubers, but not about VTuber drama. You see, Real Human VT, thank you very much for redeeming your points for an oh whoa. So the last few times I've talked about VTuber stuff, it has been about drama, whether it be somebody talking about the dark side of VTubing, or talking about, the one dude who thought that all VTubers were e-thoughts, that stuff. Let's talk about the light side. Let's talk about how trans women are finding safe spaces on Twitch and YouTube, thanks to VTubing. Now, this is, honestly, I've not read a lot of the article, but it is cool. And we're gonna have a wholesome moment. We're gonna have a good, happy episode. No anger, no rage, just good. Let's go ahead and look here. When Artsy started out as a streamer in 2017, she decided she wanted to be a VTuber. VTubing is a form of vlogging that originated in Japan and involves the use of virtual avatars rather than physical selves to create videos or streaming content. Yeah. Artsy was already a fan of using the VR chat platform and had a background in design. The idea of using an avatar appealed to her creative side. She conjured up a virtual model inspired by classic anime girls, one that is feminine and cute like the popular VTuber Code Miko. But rather than speak with her audience, Artsy decided to be a non-verbal streamer. That's a decide, unlike, say, like Miss Lacuna, who streams non-verbally because they kind of have to. To get her point across, she used hand gestures and facial expressions, which her avatar mirrored, courtesy of her VR setup. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the same thing here. But anywho, then she would move through the digital realm of VR chat. Woe betide those who have never been into VR chat. Continuing on, she streamed her tours on Twitch. Honestly, that is a fancy-ass model. That is a very fancy model. I actually don't mind that model. But your arms don't move yet. I will get Vive trackers, and eventually I'll be able to. My leap motion does not do what it's supposed to do very well. I don't know why it doesn't. I gave up ages ago trying to get that thing to work. After a few years, Artsy, whose name, like all those that are interviewed, is censored, has gathered a sizable following. Success emboldened the influencer to start using her voice on streams. She says she became known as a very feminine guy who streamed as a virtual woman. At the time, she still identified as a cisgender man. In quotes, before I started speaking, people thought of me as female, even though I never specified anything about myself, said Artsy, who's 29 and based in the Netherlands. It felt very, very nice to me, even though I didn't identify that way at the time. I knew I needed to explore those feelings. She continued to create content as a femboy until June of this year, when she began life as a trans woman. She credits her followers with giving her the confidence to come out. It's stuff like this that is probably the reason why some of y'all think that I am an egg. I'm not. Stop. Said I wasn't a very happy person for the majority of my life. I suppressed doing anything feminine for years, and I was never really comfortable with myself. She now has over 100,000 followers on Twitch and 109,000 subscribers on YouTube, where she uploads snippets of her streams, her clips, and everything else. Her clips often involve sexual innuendo and laughter, and but they are a glimpse into Artsy's personality. Confident, bright, and fun. We'll look at a clip real quick because it's right here.
I'm gonna tell you one good reason to subscribe to me, okay? That's I'm gonna give you just one reason. Are you ready? You're ready. Okay. One reason to subscribe to me, okay? Throbbing pussy is a joke that I often do, not something that I give. It's a joke that I often talk about. Okay. It's a joke that I often do on YouTube. And
random, but also neat. Also, that makes me realize that we need to discuss what I need to do and change for when people are gifting like a bunch of subs, because I'm gonna be honest, the turning people into livestock, that's funny. It's cute and it is funny, and I want to do something similar, but not like that. Something different. We'll talk about it after this episode. The time she spent streaming gave her the confidence she needed to embrace those parts of herself. She said, when I started VTubing with a female avatar, I realized that people would accept me as I am. It felt easier to exist, and it made a huge difference. In fact, VTubing is making a difference to trans women all over the internet. The VTuber community, which offers creators ultimate freedom over their appearance and interactions with the world, has attracted numerous trans creators seeking refuge from the difficulties they often face IRL. There is now a Trans VTuber of the Week Twitter account, and last month, a community member put together a 75-person showcase of trans VTubers. Artsy, as a key figure in the community, was one of its hosts and helped guide viewers through a parade of different avatars. The online event attracted so many submissions that organizers had created a second showcase. It's true. It is true. So, the least you should do if you cover her is link her channel. True. Well, we can actually just do that real quick. Boom. 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 Here is Artsy.
I'm gonna tell you one good reason to subscribe to me, okay?
I don't need a good reason, but I will drop that. That is the link to Adrenaline Dubs. What? That is not the right one. Is this link? There you go. That link. Oof. There you guys go. I oofed. The positivity and support of the VTubing community is welcome relief for trans women who battle transphobia in the physical world and are often targeted by trolls online. They said it's amazing to have a space where trans people can feel like they belong and feel safe. Says Peep, a 20-year-old from Florida who streams gaming and political content under the name of Miss Peep on YouTube. And herein lies the reason I wanted to cover this article originally. Because Miss Peep made it into the article. And if you're familiar with my channel, ideally you should be familiar with Miss Peep, as we've done content together before. They're also one of the ones that helped me while getting everything set up for VTubing in the first place, before I had everything figured out. We are going to go ahead and link her channel as well, if you have not followed Miss Peep. See, I actually am subscribed to Miss Peep because Miss Peep does political content, which is stuff I actually care about. Said, I guess I'm not familiar with your channel. Nope, not at all. I'm kidding, Featherboa. Anyway, for Peep, who started VTubing earlier this year using an anime girl avatar with a choker, brown bob, and cat ears, VTubing offered respite from digital abuse. Said if you appear trans, people will call you out for it. They will point out features like your voice or your face. They're just really mean for no reason. Artsy says that VTubing tends to attract more open-minded folks. Being a VTuber exposes you to a different kind of community than ordinary streamers. People are generally a lot more loving and accepting. Which is not untrue. This is one of those things that I actually learned, like, coming into the space. Yes, there is toxicity here, just like there is with any other community that is sufficiently large, but it is a relatively wholesome community in comparison to the other ones that I'm in. The atheist community is very combative. The political community is drama intensive and very combative. The Sonic community is full of a bunch of people who really can never be fucking satisfied. The VTubing community is generally okay, even if there is that lovely joke we have about how many days without VTuber drama? Usually it's like 2. The VTubing space offers more than acceptance. It is a world where trans women can transition instantaneously. In real life, the process is costly and time-consuming. According to queer banking group Daylight, trans people are more likely to experience anxiety and depression, and treating these conditions costs trans women both time and money. On top of this, Daylight estimates the cost of gender reassignment surgery runs up about $30,000 or more. Then there are additional costs for hormone therapy, new clothes, legal name changes, etc. Being a VTuber, however, provides quick, although somewhat superficial, routes and avoids a lot of these expenses. The magical thing about being a VTuber is that you can just design yourself and be alive online much faster than you can in real life. Peep found that VTubing helped her to navigate feelings of dysphoria. When she started streaming as a VTuber, she was feeling unhappy about her shoulders and Adam's apple IRL. Using an avatar meant she was freed from those concerns. It's kind of like an escape. You have an artistic freedom to present yourself however you want, she says. It's like a mirror, but it shows you what you want to see. It's powerful, but it's also comforting. I know for me, I had not had the chance to really properly explore being gender apathetic. VTubing helped a lot with that. I knew I was cis, and that part really hasn't changed all that much, but becoming comfortable enough in my skin to know that I would be comfortable if that skin happened to change at any point, that was a thing that I discovered through VTubing, and it helped a lot. It really did. Artsy also says that presenting as a human online helped her to feel more comfortable with her real-life appearance, especially early on in her transition. Once you take control of a character and you see yourself move and you see that face react to your expressions, you can see yourself in a mirror and kind of feel happy about it. Sari, a 26-year-old VTuber from the East Coast who streams gaming content under the name T-Queen, was drawn to VTubing for this reason. Her stream lore is based on the concept of a corrupted AI system and features a range of different identities. Using an auburn-haired anime girl avatar with furry animal ears allowed her to communicate with the world while she was unhappy with her actual appearance. It wasn't a cure-all for dysphoria. She said, sometimes I got lost in the idealism of my avatar and it made my dysphoria worse because I couldn't match those standards, but in the long run it really helped. Trans women also use VTubing as a way to practice their social skills. All the women interviewed for this article were raised and socialized to be men during childhood. When they transitioned, they had to relearn a myriad of behaviors that most people take for granted. Hand gestures, speech patterns, rules of interaction in the context of their new gender. VTubing allows them to experience this in a low-stakes way. Sari used VTubing to finesse how she interacts with the world. Said I was very cognizant when I started transitioning that men get treated differently. Presenting as female on the internet helped me figure out how to handle different situations and use my speech. She says VTubing taught her how to deal with male attention and safely diffuse those situations with unwanted admirers. Peep is beyond the point of using an avatar as practice. She's found the confidence to start appearing as her physical self on YouTube, but that doesn't mean she'll stop VTubing. Said, I want to continue beyond when I'm fully transitioned, she says. I want people to know that it's okay to be trans, and that I think as a trans content creator, it sends that message. It shows people that we should pursue what really makes us happy, because that's what matters in life. And there we are. Now, I know that I didn't offer a ton of expository commentary on this. I know that I did not do the usual like breakdown that I tend to do with a lot of the articles that I cover, because for this one, I would have just been agreeing with pretty much everything, because it's not untrue. How much does lore elevate a VTuber or V-streamer? It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be honest. For me, I find lore for VTubers maybe a little cringe sometimes, because when I'm watching a streamer, I don't see them as that character. I see them as a person. The lore is for the character, not the person. So like for me, my lore is all the history of my channel, but also bear in mind that I came into the VTubing community as a joke. Like, I came in here unironically as a joke, as a way to troll my audience, because y'all wouldn't stop gender bending me in fan art, and a lot of people wanted me to go back to doing avatar videos, which is the thing that I stopped doing on my channel ages ago. Getting into VTubing was a thing that I did because I figured, hey, if I do avatar videos again, I need to do it in a way that messes with my audience, as like a monkey's paw. I've done a whole video on this before, but I mean, that is the reason why I use the female avatar to begin with. Yeah, you'll get Suris avatar back, kind of, sort of, not the way you wanted, but we'll do that. But I mean, now that we're here, this is just kind of how things are. And through being here, I got access and context for the greater VTubing community, at least on the indie scene, in a way that I didn't before. And it was honestly like really, really, enlightening is not the word I want to use because that makes me feel like I'm wise and sage, and I'm not. I'm not. But there's a lot of things about the VTubing space that I didn't understand before popping in. And one of those was how inclusive it was to trans content creators, which is why I wanted to go ahead and cover this article. Not just because my friend Miss Peep is in it, but also because the message in the article rings true. This is a space that is a lot safer for trans creators than several other spaces that I've been a part of. The political space, even though it is probably one of the most accepting ones, is usually also one of the biggest battlegrounds. The atheist space, for the longest time, was a super hard space to be in as a trans creator, in any way, shape, or form. Gaming spaces, it's hit or miss. It depends on the audience that you cultivate. VTuber space, generally pretty okay with that. But anywho, I guess this is where I got to throw it back to you guys. I got to throw it back to everybody in the comment section. If you have anything to say about this, if you have anything to say about the VTubing community, anything like this, I know a lot of you over on YouTube probably fell into the VTubing community because I became a VTuber, and that kind of opened up that window. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I want to hear your stories. Even if I don't respond to every comment, I do read pretty much every comment, as best I can anyway. So I do want to read them. I want to see. But hop down there, hit the like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already. With that said, as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.